Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Bankroll has grown to 5K. We're currently playing 6 tables of NL 100. That we are on the wait list for 2 NL 50 tables. Action's pretty heavy. We're in good spots. I wouldn't actually mind seeing these tables fill in. I'm not super used to like shorter stack play, heads up three ways, that kind of thing. Uh, okay, so we three bet here. Small blind versus big blind. You raised, he called, flop went check check. He bet turn, and then he bet river. Um, We lose to every ace that he really has in his hand. Kind of believe him here. I'm not sure if we're actually supposed to be folding jacks here once we check. I feel like it's probably a little bit too tight potentially. Um, in this specific scenario, I'm kind of just believing him, so I think I'm going to let it go this time. I don't really know how great that is, but just doesn't feel like a spot where he's going to bluff very often because I have so many aces that I back flop with there. Okay. And we're gonna three bet the 10-9 suited. And we're gonna check raise here. Oh gosh, forgot I have hotkeys on. They still will work when we're on a different setup. Uh, so we do get called. I'm just gonna check here now. 5-6 does get there. He goes smaller to half pot. I really think he's just gonna have a flush draw significantly more often here. And I think he is the type of villain to continue blasting it if it bricks. A really shitty card for us. It's getting run over a little bit on these tables here, but runouts haven't been great. Like 4 outs to a straight, not great. Um, Flush cards on the rivers. He definitely could have been bluffing there for sure. But just such a gross run out. I am going to call here with the jack. I can't keep folding every hand to these guys. So we do need to start making some calls. And we'll give him one more chance to bluff here. Okay, good turn card for us. You check call flop. We're going to value bet turn now. And we do have to call river here once we go check, 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 check to him. Seems to be unable to resist bluffing. So I think it's definitely going to be a sort of check heavy game, protect our checking range, and just let them sort of blast into us when we have a strong hand. Every once in a while, we'll run into it. Um, but I think that's probably going to be the most profitable line uh, versus these villains on these heads up tables. Oh, perfect. So three bet the ace jack off. So down to 8 tables here, which is perfect. So we can jump back. Hold on a sec. Let's leave it on table 8 for a minute. The 9-7 off here. Got to get my keypad up and running here. Go. I have been working on redoing the overlay as well. Three betting the tens, three betting the jack, and just here. Yeah, we're just gonna three bet down here. Okay, so I think against this villain, we're just kind of. I think on this board we go for it. On this board, I think we just check back, and we pretty much just call any river. He checks. He's obviously scared of the king a lot of the time when he checks here. Uh, so I think we can probably just check back comfortably. I don't think we get called back much worse when we bet there. Uh, again, short-handed play. We are double barreling on this king though. Not much of a choice there. It's a big three bet here to 10 bigs. We do spike the 9 ball, we check now. It did turn. Guy does run hot today. Seen a lot of straights and two pairs and flushes and just like perfect timing out of this villain. It is on a bit of a heater for sure. Okay. And I'm just trying to get all the Twitch and YouTube up here. Full queen six. Bear with me here for a second while we get everything organized for a minute. Okay, that's up and running. This is up and running. And we have stream up and running. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so we're working on redoing the overlay just so that it's a bit smaller of a table, so it's not so blurry for everybody. Here we have Jack 10. We raised. He led into us on the flop. He called. We're just going to bet here on the turn. You get called. And we value bet obviously here on the river. Take it down. Okay, bit of a hand here on the bottom left. We open free. We got two callers. Flop came king deuce king. We decided to check back just because there's not a lot of there's not a lot of hands they can have here. So we're just gonna, and again, we're targeting this doctor trade to be blasting. And we're just gonna value bet half pot here on the river. Okay, and over here we squeeze pre Valacora just cold called our 10 big blind squeeze, and then ECRA came along. Um, Obviously we flop top two pair, and we're just going to be going for it. Big bet on the flop, and we're just going to be jamming turns. Obviously, he can have king 10, ace king, king, like ace queen, king queen, ace 10, jack 10, club draws. There's all kinds of hands they're going to be calling there. So we just want to be blasting and then shoving rivers. Um, we open pre here, see bet flop he called. I think I'm just going to check back turn, try to hit river with our flush draw equity. I'm going to value bet the twos here on table 8. He does lead into us. We just fold here. Unfortunately, there's not much to it. You could also argue barreling some portion of the time on the turn, which we definitely do. The flush draws, especially when you're up against villains who are not going to be check raising enough, we can attack a little bit more there. But against villains who do seem relatively aggressive, uh, which they are marked recreationals. I don't see them very often, but they're aggressive enough and willing to lose their chips. So honestly, they're a little bit more difficult to play when you're heads up uh, or like three-handed against them than like some of the nitty regs are, because the nitty regs are just like fold. I think you're more likely to win more money against these guys, obviously, shorthanded. And I think with the board double pairs, we just bet here because if we get raids, it's fine. Um, sorry, we're on the right table. So here we see bet flop he called, we bet turn he called, and then I'm perfectly fine like double barreling on that turn versus the other hand with the flush. Um, reason being, when we hit our flush, it's not crazy. If we get check raised on the turn, it's not like the end of the world. We're not losing a ton of equity because the board's double paired. So I think it's a good spot to kind of just turn our hand into a bluff. And then when we spike the six on the river, that's a great spot for us. Okay. Okay, here's a bit of a hand brewing here. We have pocket jacks. Going to three bet pre and then go back to that table. I think that's something I definitely need to find is um, like one of those stream caddies or whatever they're called, um, so that we don't have to be using like our number pad or something here, because obviously with poker we need to be clicking a lot of buttons, but it is easy to have, so it works out well for right now. So Dr. Trady, we three bet. Um, we three bet Teddy C cold calls, and then Dr. Trady comes along. I think we just check back turn Paul River. He checked. It's interesting. I think I'm gonna overbet jam and hope he hero calls a 10. He does let it go, fortunately. A bit of a hand here. We raised pre, he called. Let's see that flop, he called. And we're just giving him a chance here to blast. You know he likes to do that. So I think what we're going to do here against this particular villain who we know likes to bluff is we're going to call and then we're going to donk lead turn. Uh, and then hopefully the 10 kind of sucks because it's less likely he's going to blast now. But I like this like donk lead here because it gives him a chance to bluff and it makes us look weak. Like we have maybe a Jack X that's trying to get the showdown. Um, Interesting that he's small raises. It's not great when he ends up with like a boat or something here, but yeah, we're just going to be jamming three-handed with the nut flush pretty much 100% of the time. We do lose to deuces, sixes, jack 10, pocket jacks. Jacks with a three bet pre though, and this guy likes to bluff. And there's still a whole bunch of like flush draws that we beat, including like ace 10, king 10, queen 10 that he's going to raise with. So yeah, I think I just like jamming here. It's not always super great when there's like a paired board, like because some people think you're only getting called by worse, but against this villain type, I think it's a clear cut check shove here. And unless he's slow rolling us, we hope to get called. He does end up letting it go. Okay, fold queen four, fold 5-3. We did lose a pretty big hand over here on another table. Four bet pot, ace king, ace on the or king on the flop, bets turn. We folded tens. Not a great run out for us. First four bet from that villain as well, so have to give it credit for being relatively strong. Doesn't mean it's nizzled, but definitely showing strength in that particular spot. Okay, we're gonna see bet here, fold here. Okay, down here on table five, gonna be gun raised. Small blind called. We called big blind. We donk let flop, got rid of the under the gun villain, but small blind called. Then he turn went check. River goes check check. We're just gonna check back with the 8, try to get the showdown here. I did spike the 10 ball on the turn. Not much we can do there. Okay. Up here with ace jack, we raised pre, went call call. Obviously we flop top two. We're just gonna be value betting here. Okay, we make the nizzles. So what we really want to see is ace queen on the turn for all the marbles. Or sorry, ace queen on the river would be a beautiful thing to see. He has queen. Don't get there. We do still have the nizzles though. I think we'll just value bet. Shoving might be good here too. Nice. Threes. Nice turn card. You could probably check there some portion of the time as well. A little gun shy on checking there now because the last couple days we've checked trips. The other day the board was like super dry and it was like ace on the flop, ace on the turn. We check raised with pocket twos. I think it was what was it? I think it was ace deuce something. Um, they bet flop. We called. We small check raised an ace on the turn, so they had trip aces. And then the river bricked off, flush draw missed, so we checked, and then they checked back with ace jack. Um, so we're a little bit gun shy in those spots right now. Not gun shy, but like checking shy against a lot of villains. Some villains like these guys we can kind of manipulate because they clearly like the bluff when they're being checked to. So we're taking a bit more of a uh, check line with some of our stronger hands, just to kind of induce them to kind of bluff into us in spots. And we're gonna bump the king jack. So just jump to that table. Man, we are getting burned like crunched here a lot though in these small blind or big blind spots. Just doing like this table, we're just like folding almost consistently. It feels like he definitely is doing a lot of re-raising. Okay. Here in the top right, we called the turn with the king. With ace king, we expect to have the best hand here, just like a lot of the time. He bets again. Question becomes, do we want to raise this? I think we do. We want to try to get paid off by a 10. Probably chopping with like king jack or something. We're gonna bluff on the ace. Rick again. Million outs. Can't get there. Spikes the ace, of course. And we're just gonna four bet the aces here. Just an unfortunate event there. Calls flop. By spikes the ace. We pick up. We have a bunch of equity. And away we go. We do end up taking that down pre. Just running pretty bad on the table up here. Uh, silver three here. We had a million outs. We decided to blast turn. He unfortunately did pick up the ace jack, so not a good call in my opinion. But he has two overcards in the backdoor flush. I guess it's kind of okay. Versus three-quarter C bet, you should definitely not be making that call consistently. You'll just end up losing too much. Um, he also might think we'll fold too much to him, so oops, a little bit of a misclick there to limp in on the button. Spike top pair though, so we'll take it. Yeah, he's just going to be suspicious about that limp, unfortunately, so I'm not going to get much value. Here we have pocket threes. I think show down the threes here. Nice. And here against Dr. Trady, I expect him to bluff a lot. So again, we're just going to check call river turn, or sorry, check call river. Does check down with king five. Okay. You might notice that we've been um, letting him bluff a little bit more, so it's possible he's going to be uh, adjusting here. That's the first three, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay, call the nines. Okay. Oh, definitely gonna call here. Okay, and then Dr. Trady checks relatively quickly. I think we check back and call most rivers that are not an ace, a king, or a queen. Of course, it is an ace. Like clockwork. Super annoying. Okay, here we three bet pre-flop top set, and we're gonna blast turn. We do lose to pocket jacks, which would suck a lot. But we just have to jam in there for value. It's all kinds of like 9-10, 9-5, fives, pocket nine, pocket eights, queen 10, ace queen with like draws, stuff like that. That can still potentially call from this villain specifically. Some villains we might check there, but I think when we check, we have to be check calling, no matter what, pretty much. Let's just run that last hand. Red turn, he's still called the fours. Okay, we're gonna value bet obviously here with top two. We get check raised, which is super interesting when we have top two pair. I guess the call. Goes three quarters pot. I think we just have to call here, even if he did kind of connect with the um, flush draw does come in, but we're beating ace queen, king queen and stuff as well. Losing some threes. Yeah, this guy's just running so fucking hot, man. It's driving me fucking nuts. Ridiculous how hot this guy's running. It's just such a brutal check raise. You should have just shoved turn maybe, but can't be results oriented. It's just super tilting, basically. Yeah. Reel her back in here from that rage fest. Super frustrating though, for sure. Okay. All right, woosah. A little bit of woosah. Okay. Send the ace five. Lead out. We're gonna call. Okay, so I would say he probably almost never has the straight here. I just wonder if he's willing to fold. I think we need to bet though and try to fold out a better pair. Okay, here in the bottom left, we get re-raised on the turn spade. So we're just going for it. He does have the straight and just calls it, which is so cool. So here in the bottom left, we're just gonna shove. After getting raised on turn, snap folds river. What happened on this hand here? Checks back and then just calls the river bet. See. Okay. Okay, where are we at here? Pocket queens, you three bet. Okay, he folds. Okay, down here we elect to just call with the eights. I think we can keep a couple other fish in as well by doing this at a position. I think it's fine. If we're like cut off first button and we're in position, we'll three bet that pretty much always. Um, but when at a position, it's fine. Like calling some portion of the time with these hands. You definitely don't want to be doing it too often because you just end up losing way too many chips for the time. It's just like king queen X flop, and we just lose. Uh, a pretty good flop for us. You could definitely argue donk leading there. Okay. Once we spike a set on this board, we're just going to be blasting. Unfortunately, we don't get any value there. Appreciate everybody checking out the stream. Better type something in there. Oh my gosh. And we are back in action here. Five deuce. We're just going to be folding that. So it is good. I should be updating the bankroll more, but I have not necessarily been doing that enough. But we are up to 5,000 for the bankroll now, which is great to see. We need to transfer this down, and I need to update that. Um, but yeah, we've switched the overlay up a little bit. For those of you guys used to seeing the eight tables, this feels a little bit better. It actually feels like most of the better poker streams kind of run this way. So we're gonna roll with it for now. We'll just see how everything kind of plays out, where we can just kind of flip through all of our tables to where the action is. Um, okay, from there, here you can definitely barrel the gut shot, but with a giant bet, we'll just let that one go. Okay, bump king queen. Okay, mass 3/4 pots it again. We're gonna call. Ace on the turn's not great. He does check back pretty quickly though. King 7, knights would take it down. Sorry, we're not on any of the tables we want to bet here. But kings. It's definitely going to be taking some getting used to for me. When it comes to these hands. Unfortunately, there's an ace on the flop. And we're just checking down the ace 9 after we barrel the flop pretty big. He called with the pre-deuce offsuit. And we're going to bet here on the turn with king 8 offsuit. We called pre-flop. And the ace, we're just going to check and let him bluff that ace a ton. Here on the king's hand, it check, check, check. So we did value bet the queen, and that'll be that. Ah, checks. 50 checks. Makes sense though with that hand for him to check for sure. And down here at the kings, after we call and or bet turn and both villains call, we're just checking back river. Uh, calling the 4 deuce, I guess he has the gut shot. Is probably okay. Okay. Pocket nines, we just let go. Hold the 9-5. We're gonna be dipping out one of the NL50 tables here in a minute. Okay. Okay. Here we 3-bet ace queen. Jams over us. I think we're just gonna be folding ace queen here. Definitely falling some portion of the time against certain villains and stuff, but this table has been brutal for us. I think we've lost like almost every hand at it. Then we got struck out on a humongous over here, which was unfortunate. Okay. Just gonna see what other tables are up and running. We're moving to a table, just not sure which one. Okay, that'll do. Potentially some action brewing up here. Uh, we're gonna value bet 7 here, I think, against this villain. Yeah, he opens button, we 3-bet. Pretty standard. Unfortunately, we get a fold this time. Leaning toward calling here. Raised, he just called pre, he just called flop. Or check back flop, called the turn. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call this one. Next. When I don't want to talk about it, he's probably watching the stream. I don't want to get too into it. Okay. Queen Jack. And we just take it down. Okay, Queen 7 is going to be a fold. Here we bet raise pre, he called. We bet flop, he called. We check turn. Uh, we're now just going to take this hand to showdown. He's most likely to have some showdown value, just the way he played the hand. Uh, Clearly, like plays his draws more aggressively than that in a lot of spots. Okay, full jack three. Bump the 10-9 off. Bump the jack 7. Right, can't see all these hands. I always forget. Still in that mindset. Okay. KD6 here will be defending. Okay, flop an ace. It's a pretty good start. We're gonna check back as well. We're gonna bet here. Right, we just show down the ace here. I think that's fine when the flush comes in. And we have such a bad kicker. Better kicker where we're gonna get paid off by a worse ace. We're gonna value bet 100%. Here in the top left, we all right, he just folds, but we see bet flop. He called, we check back turn, and then last the river. Here on this board, we raise pre. Excuse me, we get called, and this is just a terrible flop for us. So we're just basically not interested in doing anything but checking and folding. And we will block that some value on the river ace here. And I think we'll try bluffing the king. Does call. We do spike the 6 ball. We'll just look and check. Fold at this point. Do bets. That's fine. It does check back. Could be like 5x. Does have the 7 still. Shows it down. We are value betting down here in the bottom left with queens. We don't have the queen of diamonds, unfortunately. Get check raised. We're gonna peel one for sure. We're now losing to 10x if he like flicked it back with like jack 10 with the diamond, queen 10 with the diamond, ace 10 with the diamond. So I think once we face that, the pre-flop call, the check raise on the flop, and then the bigger bet on the turn. I think we just let the queens go here, unfortunately. But without a diamond, it's just a fold. We don't really beat anything other than like the ace or king of diamond bluff. So you do probably have to close your eyes and call down some portion of the time there, but against like 89.9% of villains, they're not going to be following through with the triple off. And generally speaking, their second bet dictates their hand. Uh, so we can read more into their second bet a lot of the time. Okay. Although Well, Rye Guy is looking to be spewing around quite a bit so far, so we might have to adjust some stuff to defend against that. Lost a lot of hands in the last few minutes. Okay, fold 6-3. Go for value here in the top right, but nothing for us. Hungry. Okay, fold the king 8, fold the jack 3, fold the 7-3. King 6. I think we'll just let that one go to this villain. Okay. Couple of the NL50 tables dying out here. Brick, 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 brick. Ay, ay, ay. So you're gonna bump the deuces, fold the 5-3, fold the 4 deuce, no action of aces. Just fold into this guy nonstop. It's getting a bit annoying. Won't lie. Okay, it's a pretty good flop for us. Okay. Come on. Just brick right off again here. Guess not on that hand again. Tables are dying out a little bit. Unfortunately, we are going to be leaving these two. Switch down to here. Just with like Rake Boss coming in, he plays like NL1K, so I'm not really interested, unfortunately, in battling at that table since we just moved up our stake. Holy Moses. There's a lot of gross folding just going on here. That seems reasonable. Three bets, just terrible flop for us, unfortunately. Okay. You're gonna bump King Queen off. It went okay though. Got a lot of rakeback points, all things considered. But yeah, definitely not our specialty playing heads up there. Especially like at NL50, it's a little bit different. Um, just because we're so rolled for that stake and so used to playing that stake and stuff. Versus like NL100. Where probably a little bit gun shy, probably nothing crazy, but definitely a little bit gun shy. Okay, Queen 10 here, you raised, we defended a big blind, no action, we're just gonna be check folding as we brick again to this particular villain, who we were like up a whole buy-in almost on, but I think we've lost some of that back to him anyways. Um, Yeah, it's definitely a villain you're kind of waiting to make a hand against, to a point, anyways. Okay, fold here, fold that deuce. Okay, we are going to bump the ace eight offsuit, fold the ace four, and fold seven four suited. Okay, so the goal is definitely still to get to that 100K bankroll, but the tough part is finding the time to actually do that. Like with GG, you got to be putting in the volume. Like you can increase your win rate so much by having the time to put the volume in, and just like racking up the leaderboard dollars. Because if you finish in the top like three, you're making $100 just from that alone. So you can easily clear three, four, $500 playing at all 50 if you're just breaking even, um, for sure. Dr. Drady continues calling like crazy. Hey, hey, hey. Good Lord. I wonder if he would pay that off. We catch him down here just blasting off. Okay. What happened down here? We ended up taking this one. Okay. I'm assuming this was just folded. Yes, it was. Okay. Bump the jack nine off. We appreciate everybody checking out the stream. We're trying to like decrease our tilt levels these days. So they really don't matter. You know, our day-to-day winnings, like what I really want to do is stop looking at them. Um, right now, like moving, like jump kind of in the process of jumping stakes, it's a little more important to watch to make sure you're not like uh, blowing your bankroll, um, or anything like that. Not sure about the value bet here, but I think we just go for it. He could definitely like bluff shove us or call with an ace or something like that. So I think it'd be a mistake probably in that spot to not bet. Okay, call the jack queen suited. Drew that on that table. You definitely three bet this as well a good portion of the time. I think with the open ender, I'd rather bet this. Kind of using it as a bluffing hand in this spot. Um, like, what are we bluffing? Jack, queen, seven, eight, ace of hearts, king of hearts. Those are all like bluffing hands. What are we value betting? Pocket fives, pocket nines, 10x, uh, like seven, eight hearts, stuff like that. Hearts roll in. I think we just can either bluff here, but I don't think he folds too many hearts. He can still have like the queen of hearts, the king of hearts, even the ace of hearts some portion of the time. And we actually are losing to the 10x, but we're beating like some of the 9x type hands and stuff. I think we just kind of give up on the jack since we have some decent showdown value now. And more importantly, when he has the heart, I don't think he's folding. So, and then the heart, and then the board being paired as well, like decreases. Excuse me. Sort of our options when we have a flush draw, because we're not going to be like theoretically like going completely for broke when the board's paired in like blind versus blind situations where they're willing to put money in. We definitely just call the deuce here. Or the bottom left here, we spike deuce on the river. Bet flop, check back turn, spike two. He bet. Okay, 10-9 off, we'll just defend. Button versus blind. Pretty bad flop for us. He does check it back. Sometimes we're just giving up here when they check back. So I think just doing a lot of small stabbing is going to be super profitable. I actually like just shoving this, I think. We're going to call, like, we have the gut shot flush draw. I think we just put the money in versus calling and then like check folding the river. Sorry, here's the table here. Flop went check check. We let out turn. He raised up and shoved. We actually get it in ahead by a mile with nine high. So huge win here if we can hold. It's a huge win for this hand type on this spot. So much for that. But big spot there to win. Okay, down here again, like at a position, it's just because of this villain specific uh, play. Like fives, I don't like just calling them. But again, against this particular villain who is potentially willing to give action, I do quite like this looking for hands in some spots. But again, we do have to keep bluffing him as well, or he'll stop paying us off. So we got to throw bets out there as well. Kind of try to stay as sort of balanced as we kind of can. And pull the king five. Let's just see what we got going on here. Yeah, so heads up. There's three heads up tables going on at NL 100, but again, I'm not. It's just rake boss is pretty decent, and when we're first moving up, we tend to be a little more, uh, not on purpose, but we just naturally are a little more risk averse in certain spots. So when you're playing three-handed, you can't be. You have to have that aggression, or you just doesn't matter. Even if you could stack them the first hand after like 150 or 200 hands. If you're not playing aggressive at all, you're just not even that many. You're just going to lose way too many pots, and you end up going broke. Um, so. My advice is just like if you're not willing to battle, then like don't. It's really what it comes down to. Okay, here we three bet a little bit small. Should have gone 6.5. But we did get called from everybody. I mean, we blocked Queen 10 and stuff like that. So if we did want to turn our hand into a bluff, we have a pretty good blockers for that. Blocking Jack 10, blocking uh like Queen 10, King 10 if like straight rolls out. But yeah, I think I like betting here. Of course, Rye Guy's going to call. Again, we're blocking though like the Queen 10 and the 8 10 and the like the 9 10 type hands. Uh, right. Pretty good turn card for us realistically. We definitely end up getting stacked here some portion of the time. Wonder if it's better to check here or just shove. If we shove, it'll get called by much worse. Not really. I think we'll just check. Okay, pretty quickly checks back. Hmm, interesting spot. I think we'll check call river. Yeah, it's a really good call pre-flop. Sixes, okay, you're gonna bump the ace jack. So we just know like this villain, we just want to be like basically going after it when we make a hand against him, which we kind of already know, like given his rec tag, but that kind of just confirmed that he's going to have a massive range. Like if you're calling King Jack off versus an under the gun open and then a mid position three bet, and you're just cold calling King Jack's a bit bonkers. 95% of the time, if the money goes in, you're just, you're busto essentially. Don Juan open limps and calls an eight big raise. All right. So we're just gonna be going broke here, obviously. Calls. It's good. We still beat his kicker. It's gonna bet again. And we make top two. Not really much for us to be worried about here, other than like 4 5 or 5 6. Um, kind of bonkers for him to call flop, call turn, fold river there. If you guys are checking out the stream, make sure you do hit that like, subscribe, follow button. It really does help promo the channel. We definitely appreciate it. Whether you are following on Twitch or over on YouTube, subscribe, follow, hit the thumbs up. Really are trying to kind of grow the channel here as best we can with our sort of limited timeline for like playing and streaming, but trying to do our best here. Grade the Jack 10 off, fold the Jack 4, fold the Queen 3 off. Okay, fold the King 10 off. Okay, do 3 bet the King 4 suited some portion of the time. Over here, we value bet turn. We're now beating all the 10x, the quick call turn. He called. Uh, so we opened. What happened here? Let me just double check this. Yeah, we a little bit loose. Open pre from under the gun with Jack 10 off. He called big blind. The flop went check, check. Turn, he checked. We bet. He called. River, we spiked the jack, so we value bet here. Pretty clean cut. We're now beating all the 10x. So if we go small, he's going to call, and not really the player type for him to bluff raise there on the river after double checking. Um, so we'll just put some chips in. Sometimes you end up losing to like a bad ace, but value bet less without the jack on the river. But when the jack on the river hits, it's just a very clean cut um, value bet there. Okay. Okay. Jack five off. We're gonna fold here. So we're looking to definitely add some stuff to the stream shortly. Like we've got the alert box coming in for new followers. We're gonna try to add like a mod box as well. Um, just some stuff here and there, I guess, to kind of bump the stream up, as well as readjusting the table sizing, uh, just to make sure that we can get the that blurriness that you see isn't like a stream speed issue. It's the table was like I stretched the table too much after cutting it down to fit. So all the like you can still see the cards and the chip count relatively cleanly, I think, but like the names are pretty blurred out, and I'm not really a big fan of that. So I'd like to adjust that a bit. Whoa. See, this can happen though when streaming accidentally. Oh, they folded anyways. But because I'm using that numpad, and when I switch to the table, if I don't pay enough attention, it will like jump my bet size to that. So the other day I bet like instead of three betting to 8.5 bigs, I three bet to 85 bigs, something like that. Or no, it was like 88 big blinds. Because I already typed it in and then I switched it again or something. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but bottom line is it's got to be careful, that's for sure, with jumping around in some of those spots. Okay, let's just see what we got going here. All right, table six, ace eight suited. We raised what they call big blinds. We're gonna check back here actually with the bad eights. We bet almost 100% here with our range, but again, just kind of adjusting to the villains a little bit. Where I think if we check flop and we go bet, this particular villain will overcall turns and rivers, so we can take our hand to that point. But then they kind of overfold flops. So, when we have a value hand that's not super strong, where we want them to be, we're willing to risk them just folding flop to potentially get three streets of value out of them. I think it plays out pretty well to know if your villains are overcalling turns and rivers and overfolding flop, and kind of vice versa. Okay, here, Rake Boss opens under the gun. Small blind calls, big blind calls. He checks back flop. So we're just going to attack here. Most of his 7x should be betting the flop. Uh, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 7. Like bottom pair just does a lot of betting. Um, so when he doesn't do it, we're kind of only worried about Adrian underscore 4, who is definitely a recreational uh, villain. Should actually be changing that color code a little bit. I actually need a recolor code. People like Rick Boss, so I'll have to recolor code him. Drew Plutony definitely doesn't need to be recolor coded or anything. Okay, 10-9 suited, we're going to bump that up. And we're going to bump the ace 10 suited up as well. Hold the queen 3. Hold the 7 8 off. Stream's doing pretty good right now this morning, considering it's 7 a.m. Just trying to see what the scoop is. Fold the ace five. Sorry, just real life sort of business here, so kind of dealing with that for a minute, and then we'll be right back to the stream. Okay, check here. Okay, and we're gonna check king seven. Oh yeah, we gotta switch around here. I always forget that. Forget that all the time. But okay, we're gonna check raise in the bottom left here with the king queen. Nine jack three board. You need small bets, just a clear cut check raise. It's not a board too often that you go super tiny on. I don't think with jack nine connecting relatively well with a lot of ranges. One place I do need to study up on big time is like blind versus blind play. Um, a lot of mistakes we tend to make, I think, in those specific spots. We do double barrel here, obviously, when we turn the straight for value. Yeah, I do appreciate everybody checking out the stream. Gotta go work, unfortunately. There. Okay, we're definitely calling here. Yeah, we're already on that table. Perfect. Can value bet turn. Uh, no, but this is just a great spot to kind of protect your checking range. You lose the king jack, that's fine. Uh, but these are pretty good spots to just like call down. And then when you hit, you can raise, and when you don't hit, you just check it down and call it a day. And we're gonna bump the ace 10 off. Okay, but we do need to end the stream, unfortunately, here. Um, All right. We are going to value bet the ace 10. We'll just play this hand out and then we will basically end the stream. I think we pretty much just, yeah, float around 10 bigs ish, just slightly under that. Or probably right bang on 10 bigs at NL10 today. Just can't hit a hand against this guy. Unless we lose these two hands here. We got ace 10, and we got this little spew monkey. We're just working off here. Catching. So lose a bit there. King on the turn. Lovely. Great. But yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty decent morning-ish. Down a little bit. Uh, from like peak, we peaked. Yeah, we're up 60. We played 800 hands, whatever. Two tables have been off 50. We're up and running. We peaked this morning at 160. And we've kind of just sort of dwindled off in a couple big hands, and then just kind of been more or less breaking even since then. Again, hit